Wembley Stadium, AEW All In, ladies and gentlemen, 2024. The predictions live stream is here for you here today. Hi, my name is Steve. I'm joined by the one and only Mr. NX Steve, who's comfortably getting his microphone at the ready for us. Welcome to All In Predictions, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be diving into plenty of matches, including the main event, which will be title versus career, Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson. Also on the card, we have got the Women's World Championship, timeless Toni Storm against Mariah May. We've got the AEW American Championship on the line with MJF versus England's own Will Ospreay. We've got Mercedes Moné defending the TBS Championship against the Doctor Britt Baker DMD. And we've got a London ladder match on the way as well for the AEW Trios Championships, the Bang Bang Gang, House of Black, and the team to be determined, which we will reveal, going against Christian Cage and the Patriarchy. There is a Casino Gauntlet match as well for the world title shot at later dates. Chris Jericho will be defending his for the World Championship against Hook. We've got the Tag Team Championships on the line as well with FTR, the Young Bucks, and the Acclaimed. And, well, we've also got Jack Perry versus Darby Allin for the TNT Championship in a Coffin match. We will be starting things off, though, with the buy-in. We'll be brief on it as well for 0 hour. We've got Willow, Nightingale, and Tomohiro Ishii against Kris, Statlander, and Stokely Hathaway. Welcome to the stream, NXT. Hope you're doing well, my friend. That is the match card. So I suppose the first question I should ask you is your excitement levels for AEW All In 2024.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously not as excited as last year because obviously going's a bit different. But yeah, I'm still excited for it. It's still going to be a great show. We're still going to have some killer wrestling. I think, and the fact that I get to sit at home and watch it this year, I think is even better. You know, I ain't got to worry about like your journey last year trying to get home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no worry about being stuck down Wembley Way for an hour for me this year, and also having to get home and then catch a flight 6 o'clock in the morning the next morning. So I got like 3 hours sleep. I flew and then I worked and actually was DJing for a wedding the same evening. So I was quite politely, I was a little bit out on my feet when I was doing that one, but the couple were happy, so that's all that matters. Excitement levels for me, I'm going to say out from the bat. I do feel that, yes, going last year, it was going to be like a 20 out of 10. This year, I still think there's some matches I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to say I'm a solid 8.5 out of 10. You know, it's at Wembley Stadium as well, so I'm going to get the feels again, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really good time.
I'm honestly, do you know what? I'm actually looking forward to the presentation this year as well because they've gone with a completely different setup. They've gone with a bigger screen and a bigger stage, and I think it's going to make it feel a little bit more special. And obviously, it's going to make it different from last year. So, yeah, I mean, if I was to make it, I'd probably say about 8.5 and 9. Like I said, I think we're going to get some killer wrestling this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be some great matches indeed. And you say about killer wrestling, what match are you most looking forward to?
Oh, dude, I mean, tag team wrestling obviously is my thing, and there's trios titles and tag team titles up for galore in multi-man matches, which are always going to be fun. But I think I'd be stupid not to say, that's, I mean, there's so many. I could say Swerve versus Bryan, obviously the stipulations and everything's on the line. But dude, I'd be crazy not to say Ospreay versus MJF. The story that these two have had the last couple of weeks, months, however long, it just goes. Maybe it will culminate at this point. We'll find out. But I'm expecting the match to be honestly solid. Like Will Ospreay is the 5-star match king for fun.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a match that's going to be an absolute banger for sure, and it's going to be the first match we talk about of the main card on this stream. So that will get you good excitement that we know we're getting to big matches early. But let us know what you're most looking forward to in the comments. We'd like to know what you are excited for All In. For me, as much as I'm looking forward to Ospreay versus MJF one more time, it's got to be the main event for me. I do feel to myself that Bryan Danielson, this could be his last match ever. Like, this is it. If he loses, he's done. And I'm not sure I'm ready to say goodbye yet. So we'll see if Head or Heart gets the winner when it comes to this stream today. And also, just a quick shout as well for Toni Storm and Mariah May, absolutely killing it with their story. They've done this calendar, hopefully the full calendar year since Mariah May's debuted in AEW. Should be a fun one to do as well, which we'll be talking about later on in the stream. Just before we go into some matches, let's say hello to the chat. We've got C Nation Dog in the house. What's up, CD? Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are well. Two Speed Carl says 9 out of 10 for him. Good to see you guys. Hope you guys can convince me on some of these that I'm torn on. That's what we're here for. That's what we're going to try and do. We know that your prediction stream on OTM will be live later today, so make sure you can check that out. We've got to mention I can't wait to see Tomohiro Ishii and Stokely Hathaway wrestle. You make a good point on that as well there. And you know what? As I said, we're going to talk about it quite briefly. Let's start with that one. Let's go to the buy-in and let's talk about it. So it is Willow Nightingale, Tomohiro Ishii versus Kris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. Stokely's going to get annihilated, isn't he? That's pretty much what's going to happen here.
Well, I don't know if you know, but there's actually a stipulation to the match, and it's whoever wins this match picks the stipulation for the singles match between Willow and Statlander that's going to go on All Out. So, as much as I'd like to say, yeah, Stokely's going to get absolutely destroyed, I think the heels might actually do the job here, because it's normally a heel thing to pick the match type, and then like Nightingale will get her win back All Out. Who knows? But yeah, it's honestly, Hathaway beat Ishii is just the craziest concept, and it's like I really don't. Never in a million dreams because I believe it would happen. But like, you know, we are wrestling fans and like we've experienced it for the last 10, 20, 30 years, however long you've been watching it. And yeah, you know, it kind of seems more believable that Stokely Hathaway is going to beat Ishii.
I suppose the thing is that, like you say that, the stack is against Stokely winning this match. It feels like he's the sore thumb sticking out here because he's not an in-ring competitor. So you feel like he's the one that's going to take the loss, but in a way that will be attracted in so much that we're blind to the actual result. Like you say, the stakes on the line here does make more sense for the heel to make the choice of the match. However, you'd think Willow, perhaps maybe if she picks up the win here, would want to pick a stipulation where she knows maybe Stokely's not going to get involved, maybe a steel cage match, for example. Someone that could maybe just put the stakes up so Kris is the one that's sort of shaking in her boots. So I'm going to remain on Willow and Ishii as the prediction, but you do put a bit of food for thought in my mind, and maybe, just maybe, I don't think this is cut and dry as maybe as I did think it was 5 minutes ago.
You know what? For fun, I'm going to say Stokely Hathaway and Kris Statlander win, just to go with the trope of the heels winning. As stupid as it sounds, do you know what? Why not? I'm just for fun. I'm gonna say Statlander and Hathaway.
Do you know what? I hope you're right. I really do hope you're right, because I just think it'd be so funny. It just would be awesome to see. So yeah, it'd be nice. Nice to see OC on stream. Absolutely, certainly is indeed. Byron in the house, 10 matches is enough. I mean, 10 matches is what we're going to be going through today, and hopefully you will not be bored of us actually staying the matches we go through them. CD says he has to agree. AEW can overdo the matches sometimes. Can do indeed, but I'll tell you what, just a quick one. Obviously, watching at home, I do feel sometimes burnout watching AEW shows. But when I was at this show live, I felt completely different. I felt myself that just flew by. We were sitting there for like 5-6 hours, and I for me, I could have sat and watched more.
Yeah, no, it's weird how that works, because I was the same. Like, I didn't feel like at any point in the show dragged last year. It flowed really nicely, and I can't remember off the top of my head how many matches there were last year. It was probably something. It was probably more than 10. It was probably about 11, 12, or 13. But maybe this is a case of that they've learned from last year. They've kept the numbers shorter, just so that I don't know, maybe the run time is shorter. The whole escapade of trying to get out of the stadium at stupid o'clock at night isn't as bad. So, yeah, maybe they've just learned from last year.
Have to wait and see how it will play out. Either that or some of the bigger matches get more time. We'll have to wait and see. Jason McCall says main event is an obvious choice, so I'll pick another Mercedes versus Britt. Big fan of both his matches. Most looking forward to, and to be fair, it should be a good one there. Mercedes versus Britt.
Is that main event obvious? Is it really?
I think it was a main event. It was the obvious choices match most looking forward to.
Oh right, my apologies. Okay, I thought you meant who was going to win it. I was going to say. So this Carl knows that we don't know, apparently.
Well, he has said he's on the fence with some of them, so I'm going to be interested to know what his pick is going to be when he gets to the main event of this one. But of course, we'll be appearing on his channel very, very soon, just saying. So yeah, keep an eye out. 2 eyes emoji there, very sensible to say. CD getting in early says that Bryan Danielson ain't winning the AEW Championship because Hangman Adam Page and the Swerve Strickland program will continue for the World title. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll wait and see. This week says Stokely gets the win. Heard it here first. There you go. Not just the team. Stokely's going to get the pin.
Yeah, on Ishii, definitely, 100%.
Yeah, amazing. CD's got Tomohiro, Ishii, and Willow winning here because Stokely having a win over Tomohiro would look bad for Tomohiro, even if he doesn't take the pin. It could do. But I've seen Ishii lose to a lot of people in AEW.
If it's booked properly, yeah, Ishii's lost to loads of people. What's the difference in one more? Like, dude, I've seen Ishii lose indie shows for Rev Pro. It's kind of like, it's not a major thing, man. Like, as long as he's not represented bad in New Japan, you know what I mean? That guy's just getting a paycheck at the end of the day.
I have to wait and see. It's interesting because I've tell you what, it's actually quite split, this one. I thought it would be very straightforward with this one. Just because maybe it's because you guys don't get as many live shows, because I definitely feel fatigue attending most of these long cards. And it's a fair comment. Obviously, yeah. I've only been to two pay-per-views in the last sort of 5 years, so I could say that that would make a difference.
There's a big pond in the middle that kind of stops us from attending many.
And I actually had to cross that to attend one of them, so yeah, I totally agree with that. So but let's go on to the main show then. We're 11 minutes into the stream, so let's go in deep, shall we? Let's talk about what should be for the International Championship, but instead it's for the AEW American Championship, rebranded after MJF defeating Will Ospreay in a match that, well, MJF remembers being short work, light easy work if you hear most of his interviews on the build to this show, but actually was just shy of 2 seconds of an hour long. Of course, Will Ospreay in that match could have put MJF away if he'd used the Tiger Driver 91, but of course he didn't do so because he's promised not to use that move after putting it on Bryan Danielson at AEW Dynasty earlier this year. Of course, we can skip forward a little bit after MJF has sort of done the American shtick, which, to be fair, I'm going to say quickly, in America, for me, I felt didn't work because I felt most fans, they're patriotic over that side of the world, as we are here, and I felt sometimes MJF is supposed to be the heel, yet he was getting cheered by sections of the crowd in a storyline he's meant to be booed. But still, all was right when it was in Cardiff this week, and I've got to say the best promo was saved till last. It was incredible between MJF and Will Ospreay, and what was revealed through this was, well, first off, Gavin and Stacey, Will Ospreay making a nice reference there with the Welsh crowd and the Brit and how he's loved so much, but also we learn of why MJF really deep down doesn't like Will Ospreay, because he's turned around and said that the company, you've been like not fulfilling your end of the bargain while I've been away injured. They begged me to come back. Will Ospreay had said, look, they got me in when I wasn't even part of the company because they didn't actually think you can actually handle a main event at All In. So that's why I was called in to have the good match. MJF said the real reason, actually, and he let it slip, he didn't mean to, he let it slip, said, well, everything was going well for me and everyone liked me until you turned up and then you ruined it. Slipped to the tongue. But of course, when Will Ospreay learned of this information, of course, MJF then goes back to his dastardly ways, reminding Will that, of course, the child that he's raising isn't his own. And actually speaking to Will Ospreay's wife, MJF kind of has the feeling that the second child won't be his either. Fun little play, just as well as we go then backstage with Ospreay, because he was attacked, because he did attack MJF after that. Of course, he said that the 100k bounty was worth it and they had to pull apart, but he was left laying after being hit with a diamond ring, was bleeding backstage. Bryan Danielson confronted Will Ospreay and said, do it. Do it. So maybe the Tiger Driver 91 could be back here at All In. For me, this is one of the best go-home angles I've seen. It's added a lot of heat to this match. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it should be a fun time here with MJF versus Will Ospreay. Your thoughts?
Yeah, the doing the go-home in Cardiff has really saved, I think, the MJF character from, obviously, the stuff you were saying. And kind of it almost tried to be that they almost tried to make him like Lex Luger. Do you know what I mean? No one really liked Luger doing his USA shtick back in the day, and well, sorry, it just didn't get over like they wanted it to, and kind of ended up becoming a heel thing. And like they obviously tried making out that Long Island, is it Long Island? I believe MJF's from New Jersey. Sorry, they tried to make it out like that's the only part of America, and it's kind of like I can see where you're coming from with that. This. The promo, yeah, don't get me wrong, was great. It was well done, well produced, and it's kind of like it's really saved the character. The result for this match, though, like I had a pick in mind, but then because All In is not in London next year, it swayed my answer.
Interesting.
Because originally I was going to say that MJF wins, and they kind of do what WWE has been doing with Drew McIntyre and just screwing the big UK star in his home country and then saving it for a later date, i.e. when All In comes back. But that's 2 years away. And if you're going to wait 2 years to make Will Ospreay AEW World Champion, I just think that's a little bit too long for me. So I'm going to say Will Ospreay wins. And like you said, everything with Daniel Bryan and the Tiger Driver, it kind of seems like it's right. And obviously we have the whole MJF stood tall and Dynamite kind of thing. So yeah, like I said, All In not being in London this year honestly swayed my answer. Next year, sorry.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I think that makes sense. Obviously going to be in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly going to be in Texas for sure. It's going to be earlier as well, but it's going to be in July next year. But I feel the same as you. Looking about this, I'm going to go for Will Ospreay to win because he has said that his family is going to be there. There is that kind of thing of like, oh, what if he lost in front of his family? That would give MJF more heel heat. But in this stage, I don't think he needs heat. The whole idea about this is the fact that the American Championship was the International Championship not long ago, and the fact he's bringing in what's supposed to be enemy, now American Championship to the UK, it's supposed to be, in my opinion, where the story ends and Will Ospreay wins the title, goes back to being the International Championship. MJF can't continue this America gimmick once he goes back to America because it just feels a bit redundant, in my opinion. So the only way that I think that he actually retains is if it's meant to be Daniel Garcia to get the revenge. But as far as I'm aware, of course, MJF wrote him off TV. I don't know if Daniel Garcia is re-signed with AEW yet. So for me, it makes the most sense that if they do that match in the future, it's without the International Championship. Garcia wants the International Championship, not the American Championship, despite it being the same. They can do that. He can go for that title afterwards against Ospreay. So I'm going to say Ospreay wins here. And yeah, the Tiger Driver 91 is definitely going to be used here. And yeah, I can see Ospreay picking up the dub. Anything you'd like to add before we go to the comments?
Yeah, I completely forgot to think about the future booking. You're right. Yeah, they probably will get rid of this all-American hero MJF character because yeah, you're right. It doesn't transcend well for a heel to be the all-American hero and getting cheered in every show he goes to.
No, it just doesn't feel right to me. But hey, I could be wrong. We could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see how it goes down. Jones is in the house. Jonesy, thank you for joining us as the Tiger Driver is being used here, so he does agree with us. Too Sweet Carl says, "Bruv wins." I feel I could do that better. Bruv wins. Not digging the new MJF personally. I know I'm not supposed to like him, but the character is meh. Do you think the character's meh?
I mean, it's MJF doing heel work and it's his best stuff. Maybe it doesn't transcend well, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen quite a lot of his interviews since he's been over in the UK this week, and I enjoy the kind of like the nonchalant, like, oh, that's not how I remember it kind of thing. But I can see where some people will find that it doesn't work for them.
I think it's worked, especially with the UK media when he's done a lot of the interviews here. They've been really fun listens to listen to MJF with our channels and stuff that we listen to in the UK. But at the same time, I do feel like the character it's a short-term gimmick. It doesn't have a long-term effect. So thankfully, Carl, I think that maybe we don't have to put up with it for too much longer. As I do think even for us who've probably tolerated it probably a bit better, I don't think it will transcend well after this show. It all makes sense for me for Wembley and Wembley only. CD says, just my opinion, but AEW does overdo these custom title belts. Jack Perry has a custom TNT Championship, MJF custom International Championship. Just too much for me. Too many cooks in the kitchen, or do you think that perhaps maybe it's actually okay?
I can agree with this for the fact that it doesn't make it feel special when they do get a custom title, because it just feels like a very everyday thing now. Like, oh, you have a title belt, here's your custom design one. Like, how many times I think apart from maybe Cody, I think everyone's had a custom title for a TNT strap, and it's like it kind of degrades the worth of the title. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's like, oh well, especially like, don't get me wrong, I like the designs, I think they're good, but you don't make them feel special enough. You just kind of make them feel like, oh well, everyone's gonna do it.
Yeah, I get where your point is with that. Obviously, it does feel less special the more it gets done. Obviously, the design, I suppose, for the current feud of MJF with this one, so fair enough, but it's not my favorite design. Do you think Jack Perry's custom one looks quite badass?
I think the MJF one you can get away with because he's completely renamed the title, and I think that's how that works.
Yeah.
But like with the AEW title, you had the Triple B, and it's like, okay, he's got a Burberry strap. Okay, I can respect it. And then it was like, but then when Punk had it, it was like obviously had a big black X on it, and it was kind of like everyone's trying to put their own spin on having this title, and it's not focusing on what the title means, but more what the person means than what the title means. Do you know what I mean? Like, essentially, in this case, it's not the title that makes the man; it's the man making the title. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, totally get what you mean. Indeed, there. Jonesy asking if you are going to All In. Don't believe you are.
No, we're not this year.
Both going to be comfy on the sofa this year. CD says, Will Ospreay is winning the American Championship, should I say International Championship, as Will Ospreay, or make it that title again if he wins. And of course, he will finally get his long run as International Champion too. Funnily enough, Will Ospreay did do the exact same story on New Japan last year. Actually changed the United States Championship to the UK Championship, funnily enough. So things have gone full circle on Will with this one. And this time he's the babyface saying it's a disgrace and changing the title name.
Everything in pro wrestling is stolen.
Seems to be, doesn't it? Josie says Ospreay needs to win here to get MJF back to the main event level feuds to finally finish Adam Cole feud from December. It depends on when Adam Cole returns. It feels like he's nowhere near the time frame on the return at the moment.
Yeah, it'd be nice though.
It would be nice. It would be nice. Although he has said in interviews he's completely done with him. It feels like Adam Cole would have to return as a face at this point. See, this says, fun fact, got to see MJF as Will Ospreay. One for the International Championship at Dynamite 250. Wow, amazing. You got to go and see it live. That'd be a pretty cool experience there. I hope you enjoyed it, CD. Expecting Ospreay and MJF to both get colour here. There'll be blood in this one, indeed. I could agree with that as well.
Blood in every match.
It wouldn't surprise, but there's no Moxie, so at least it would not be. It probably means something a bit more. So yeah, absolutely. As Jones just said, it's probably the lost momentum there, weakest incarnation of MJF, and CD wants to see him back in the main event scene after this as well. Jonesy reckons that Ricochet turns up for a stare down after this one as well. Interesting, that one there. I've got Ricochet potentially appearing on this show as well, but in a different spot. But this certainly would be a lot of fun to see.
I actually like this better than what I think I know. I think I was going to say the same thing as you were, but
Probably.
I actually like this better, and AEW like doing stuff like this. And this is actually a really good shout. I like this.
Absolutely, yeah. To be fair, it would be pretty cool. I currently think this match will happen at Wrestle Dream, but would not be against it happening at All Out at all. I think it definitely get bums in seats. I think Carl would like it at All Out as well. So I think you're attending, if I'm not mistaken, my friend. He says, I think he just adopted the gimmick since it's election year. It will be done soon. Makes a lot of sense as well with it being election year. That's a really good point made there from Kyle. Where is Moxley? He's on vacation at the minute. He's not even going to be involved with the Blackpool Combat Club. Keep an eye out for
Randy Pickett's still on TV as well. She is.
Sorry? Renee, yeah, she's on TV still. Yeah, just Moxley will be there. Has not been there recently. And yeah, is exactly where I think that Ricochet will be, is in the Gauntlet match. Noob, coming in the house. Hope you're doing well, Noob. Thanks for joining us. You've joined us just in time. Just let us know that Carl said he will be there at All Out. But you've joined us just in time as we go on to match number 2, which is going to be for the TBS Championship. It could be Mercedes Moné versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Is that she's CEO versus DMD, but this one's been affected a little bit because obviously Britt Baker, breaking kayfabe here, has been suspended for a couple of weeks, so it's kind of ruined the momentum a little bit of the build of this match. However, there was a contract signing this week, and obviously it's switched from the getting personal between these two and giving personal digs into being more about the women's revolution and inspiration sort of storyline that we see quite a lot in women's wrestling. But obviously Mercedes Moné has brought in Camille as well as a bodyguard, kind of got that sort of HBK Diesel vibe from the 90s there. I'm going to say it nice and early. I think that Britt Baker is going to get some help at some point here at All In. I think Jamie Hayter is going to return at this show. I just don't think she's going to return during the match. I think it's going to be after the match. That gives my prediction away. I think Mercedes Moné is retaining NXT, the floor original.
Yeah, I had the same impression. Like, I'm going to say this very briefly. I think that the suspension has rustled a few feathers, but it's kind of like they have to do the match anyway because it's what they booked. So I think for me that alone tells me that Mercedes Moné is retaining. If if I could be completely wrong, that might not be a factor. I like your idea of Jamie Hayter, because my idea was that I forget who the enforcer is with Mercedes. What's her name?
Camille,
sorry. I had the idea that Camille was going to turn on Mercedes, but that doesn't seem right. So I actually prefer your idea better. I think Jamie Hayter returning, especially in London, would be a great shout.
Absolutely. She's from Southampton, which of course is not too far away in the UK, and of course it could build a tag team match potentially for All Out, and then obviously from that way onwards we could have perhaps a final match with Moné and Baker, potentially say a Wrestle Dream for example, or a Random Dynamite. They have their anniversary in October as well, and then Moné can go on to other things, maybe Jamie Hayter, or Jamie Hayter could move on to the title she never lost, which we'll talk about later in this stream. But let's go into the chat in the meantime. Jonesy asking if he's surprised that, well, if we're surprised that Saraya's not on the show. Stock's really fallen hard in the last 12 months. I would have to agree, the stock has fallen very hard in the last 12 months, Jonesy. So much that this is a good opportunity to plug a video we've got dropping on this channel tomorrow. Every AEW signing from WWE ranked. And Saraya is one of the big talking points on that video. But we'll give you a quick one here. Are you surprised she's not on the show?
Well, yeah, I mean, she had her moment last year, so I can imagine why. You had your moment last year. You don't need to be on the show this year. She was on the Cardiff show. She obviously faced Toni Storm for that AEW Women's World Championship. Do you know what I mean? That's her moment this weekend. And like I said, it could be a twist, and she could be on the show regardless somehow or other. But yeah, I know what Jonesy means. It is a shock to see such a fall from grace, and obviously with it being London, you'd think they'd have got her on the card in some capacity, but. Unfortunately, there's bigger stories out there to tell this year. It
feels like there's bigger stories, and at least she got a moment in Cardiff. I know that's probably not quite the same, but you know, obviously it's still on the UK tour in some fashion, so she has competed this week, but certainly not as much of a prominent role at the moment. I think her contract is due soon, but there is I was hoping with a Fightful report that there is discussions potential an extension, but maybe that could be a factor as well why she's not actually competing at Wembley this year. And as NXT rightly said, she did also have a moment last year. Nubico believes that Will Ospreay should win the titles. To share our opinion as well. C Nation says Dr. Britt Baker wins the TBS Championship with Jamie Hayter helping Britt Baker, even though the odds are with Mercedes Moné and Camille. Loving that stuff there indeed. CEO win via shenanigans and a rematch at All Out for 2 Sweet Carl. And do you know what? I think that would be great for you. You get to see that one live. Jones says everyone's forgot about Hayter. Not here. Says what's your take on Mercedes? Has she already burnt out the audience? I mean, she's gone into the heel role, and I think that it's been much more comfortable for her, and I think she's getting the natural reactions that she should be getting. So for me, I think it's been better for Mercedes Moné since the heel turn.
That's what it should have done when she came in from the start and started it off hot. Yeah, I just it's one of the things. They learn from it, but do you know what I mean? Sasha's excuse me. Sasha's like Charlotte Flair for me. She's Mercedes is like Charlotte Flair for me. Best work is done when they're a heel.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. And I mean, the thing is, first impressions are a big deal, but certainly it's not impossible to turn it around. Even if it's what you remember to begin with, I think in time, I think it's going to be fine. Tony Khan has ruined Saraya, says C Nation there, and also Joseph reckons that'll be a fun video. We think it's a fun video. It's already recorded. It's
a long one. We apologise now, but yeah, it's a good debate.
It's a great debate video, and yeah, it's probably about as long as one of these streams that we do here. So it's a podcast length. See, this says, hate to say it, Tony Khan needs to release some wrestlers. The roster is too big. Hate to see people lose their jobs though, but I get where you're coming from, especially apparently if there's 3,000 people backstage and they're nan according to Will Ospreay. Jonesy says, I really expected Sasha to bring in the Force Horsewomen level in ring, but she's been very arrogant and lazy. I thought it would be she would deliver similar to CM Punk. I think it's just been part of the character. I think that's what they're going with, and that's what they did sort of make emphasis of that on Dynamite this past week. So I feel like that I think it's part of what it's meant to be. But you know, Britt said she wants this 4 Horseman level Sasha version to come. So I think we should get a Dynamite match, let's just say, when it comes to Wembley. And as Jones said, that I think this match should be great. In ring has got a lot of potential.
Honestly, I'm just gonna be glad to see Britt back in ring. Like, it feels like forever since I've seen her wrestle a decent match.
Sorry, I missed that comment. Apologies.
I just said I'm just glad to see Britt back in ring. I think it just feels like I've been ages since I've seen Britt wrestle a really good match.
Yeah, I mean, it's felt like a while. Obviously, she was part of All In last year, but I weirdly blanked that out until she made reference to it. This was, oh yeah, she was in the four-way. Yeah. So yeah, it has felt like she's not been around for long enough there. But agree with CD, best work as heel. And Jones says, who would you say are the best in-ring women's wrestlers in AEW? Toni Storm probably tops the list for me.
I think character work, Toni Storm, yeah, but I think if you're talking about in-ring actual core, I'm actually going to throw out someone like Athena. I think I've always found Athena really solid as a wrestler. So don't get me wrong, like I like Britt. I think sort of like, I don't know, it's really hard to sit there and say which one's the best one. Like they've all got their pros and cons, but I think just from a wrestling perspective, I'd say someone like Athena.
Athena's good. Really enjoyed her run, but unfortunately on ROH, tree falls doesn't make a sound. That's the question we probably that conundrum out there. If you enjoyed the video so far, hit that like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well, and keep in with your predictions as well. We're going to move on to the next match in the meantime, which will be a Coffin match. There we are. It's going to be for the TNT Championship, the brand new title or designed title from Jack Perry, which usually would say that he's not losing the match, although he's going against Darby Allin, or Darby All In, as I like to call him, show named after him. He's never lost a Coffin match, so this is going to be interesting with this one, how it's going to play out. My question, or just quickly go through the build very quickly, kind of been based off the Blood and Guts match, of course. Jack Perry was going to be set on fire, just like he was done at Anarchy and Arena earlier this year, which these two were involved with. During the Elite versus AEW feud, Jack Perry did actually get himself, or did forfeit a championship match at All In to Darby All In, and obviously this match has now been made into a Coffin match since as well, and yeah, it should be a fun time. I like the fact this has been a stipulation match, because I did feel to myself that this would be a decent match, but I don't know, just adding this stipulation into it, I think as well, because we had a Coffin match as well when we were there last year. Some might say it's lazy, but for me it's a gimmick match that usually works well, and I think Jack Perry likes to be involved in some of these stipulation matches as well. Brian River.
This is going to be one of the most overbooked messes this weekend. Like I can see what you're saying with. I appreciate the stipulation. It kind of it breaks up the card. It gives you something different to see. But this is going to be such an overbooked calamity. Like I expect it to still be highly entertaining, but you know when you watch certain people wrestle and you're kind of like, okay, time for the overbooked. This is the overbooked match of the show. This is it. This one. I think this is. I don't get me wrong, I still think it's going to be highly entertaining. You're right. Darby has never lost one. There's obviously rumours that a certain icon is set to return as well and make an appearance. So, you know, I mean, everything's pushing that way that Darby should be winning this. But, I mean, it's kind of redundant, really, now. Like I was just about to say, Jack Perry's got a brand new title, and it's kind of like to have this brand new TNT title, and then all of a sudden he loses it straight away. But I mean, if you're going off of Blood and Guts and it's Darby's match, it kind of feels like Darby has to win this one.
It's going to be interesting how it's going to play out, because as I said there, usually if you get a custom-made championship, you're keeping it for the long term. You look with the Acclaimed, for example, this is a 6 trios championships they had last year. They had it for like the longest time, and it's good for a merch seller. So in the way you feel like Jack Perry can't be losing, but as I say, Darby's record in Coffin matches, he's had quite a lot of them. He's never lost. Something's got a break here, and I have a feeling that Jack Perry is going to retain. I think this is going to be the first time that Darby Allin's going to lose one of these matches, and I think there's going to be a spectacular spot that's probably going to cause Darby to lose. I think it could be his own downfall where he ends up in the coffin.
I can already predict that spot.
It's
going to be Darby in a coffin, and Jack Perry's going to set the coffin on fire as a playback to Blood and Guts.
Now that would be massive, wouldn't it? Jonesy, if you're still with us, I mean, that would be very
Jonesy match.
It would be, because it'd be very reminiscent of the Royal Rumble 1994 with Yokozuna and The Undertaker, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this is there's something. I actually think that's a strong possibility. I like that.
Yeah. I'm changing my answer now. I'm going with you as well. I'm changing it. I'm going with Jack Perry. He burns Darby Allin's coffin, because Darby is the kind of guy that would be happy to be set alight.
Don't know what that quite says there, but yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Thankfully, it'll be very far away from it. But yeah, we're going to go for Jack Perry to retain the championship. And yeah, this one could lead to a blaze of glory. Jonesy hopes we enjoy the pay-per-view. Hope you do as well. Byron's got Mercedes, Swerve, and Mariah and Darby and Hook all picking up the wins. Kyle says, I think there's a good shout, by the way, for best female wrestler currently. Mercedes joined the D, but a few others mentioned there. Absolutely, indeed, they are. CD says that Jack Perry retains the TNT Championship here just because he debuted the custom title belt. And also, he's only had it since Forbidden Door. It's not usually they have longer reigns than that, don't they? But we'll see how it goes.
CD, we've established on the show that custom titles don't mean jack to AEW.
They don't, but I mean, we've said it with MGF, but we think he's going to lose his. But as I said, the Acclaimed had his for a long time, so we'll have to wait and see how it's going to go. Byron reckons this show might have 5 surprises. Well, we've gone for a few already, but what are your 5, Byron? We're interested to know your 5. Carl says the Elite survive another pay-per-view with the belts. Well, we're going to talk about the Bucks in a couple of seconds from now. And why would Tony Khan debut a custom belt for Jack Perry only for him to lose it fast? Your guess is as good as mine.
Fair. Jack made it himself. Like, if you've seen the video, so this isn't down to TK, this is actually Jack doing it.
It is indeed. It is indeed. We have to see how it will all play out. But in the meantime, how we're going to play it out, we're going to play out with a tag team title match, a freeway as well. It is going to be the champions, the Young Bucks, going against FTR and the Acclaimed. And my question for you is a little bit off the cuff. It's something a bit different, actually, rather than go through the story beats of this one. Are these the only teams that AEW actually cares about? Because I feel like they're the only teams ever in the title scene.
Dude, I think everyone else is in a trios now, aren't they? Like, I know obviously Phoenix and Penta are doing whatever, and kind of like, to be fair, they should be in another matchup on this card anyway. Yeah, and like you said, you've got House of Black. It seems to be that everyone, like, they have their tag teams and they have their trios, and that's kind of it. But yeah, I know what you mean. At the minute, it just feels like these are the only 3 tag teams that are booked consistently on TV.
Absolutely. So if I was to say, let's go with All In last year, FTR picked the win up over the Young Bucks. We've already got Sweet Carl's prediction here for this match, saying that the Elite walk away with all the titles. I'm going to jump in early, so I have the same prediction. I think that the Bucks here are going to retain. I hope this doesn't lead to the 4th match with Bucks and FTR at the moment. I'd prefer to see Bucks against the Acclaimed, although we have recently had that on AEW Dynamite as well. So it'd be interesting to see where they go from here, but I think the Bucks will retain.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to say the same. It's just going to be interesting to see how they do it, because unless you have the Bucks pin FTR, which is highly unlikely, it's going to be the Acclaim taking that pinfall, I think. And it's they're essentially, they're in this match to take that pinfall so that they can probably build towards another Bucks FTR match. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, they do all the right things to build up the Acclaimed, and then they seems like they get the tag team titles for 5 minutes and then they're straight back on the Young Bucks once again.
I would love the Acclaim to win here, because they won actually the trios titles at Wembley last year, so you could just always be there. They win titles when it comes to Wembley. Personally, a big fan of Bowens. I think I love the energy that he brings to all of his matches. I think he's improved so much in ring as well. But yeah, I still think the Bucks here though are going to get the job done on this particular one. But we'll see. Interesting how it will play out. CD here says that the Young Bucks barely defend the AEW Tag Team Championships. True story, but as EVPs, I guess they have the power to not have to defend them. But he also thinks they will retain as well. Kyle says once their strongest division now, just seems that the same teams getting title shots. 100%. Someone pin this comment. 100% agree with this one. And this is Byron's surprises. Ricochet, Jamie Hayter, Sting, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin. Interesting with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. We'll come on to MVP. That'll make 6. Give me as many surprises as you want. I don't mind. It's all in.
Yeah, man. It's AEW's AEW's like biggest show of the year. Like, they're about to do some crazy stuff on the show.
They certainly are indeed. Something that could be a bit crazy is the FTW Championship. And of course, not going to talk about the Extreme one back in the 90s. For the World Championship, Hi guys, Chris Jericho taking on Hook, and of course Hook there has got the eye patch at the moment because Chris Jericho is a wizard after all. Of course, getting the fireball into his eyes. Hook has also lost Shibata, of course, the wrestler, and Samoa Joe as well for the meantime. So Hook is at a disadvantage here with the 3-on-1s, but this is his last shot of this championship. Of course, if he does lose here, then Jericho has this title forever. Hook cannot challenge for it anymore. I mean, look, I'm going to be a bit controversial. I don't hate the learning tree as much as everybody else.
I kind of want Jericho to win.
I wouldn't be against it. Hook needs to go to NXT badly, man. He does. The promos haven't been great for me.
Hook needs to get out of his father's shadow. It's what he needs to do. And if you're going to put this FTW title back on him again, everyone just knows him as Taz's kid. Because that's all they do is throw it down his throat. This is Taz's kid. It's the FTW title. This is the title that Taz brought into professional wrestling. Blah 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 blah. When is this kid ever going to step out of his dad's shadow? And it's kind of like I want Jericho to win just so Hook can go on and do other things and be a bigger name for himself. But unfortunately, Hook's probably going to win.
I think Hook's winning as well. It just feels like let's just wrap this up and we can move on. This storyline's been going on for months. I mean, we're talking about the best part of 6 months. And I don't think anyone's actually benefited from this feud. Not even Chris Jericho's benefited from this feud at this point. He's almost untouchable really when it comes to his career in professional wrestling. But let's hope this one is finished after here. But final prediction for me, Hook.
Yeah, same as me. I'm gonna go Hook.
Let's go for it. Well, let's go into the comments and see what you have all got to say. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button as well. Really helps the algorithms here on YouTube. Tuswicast says, Hook seems like the obvious choice, but you can never count out Jericho. And that's true. You can never count out Chris Jericho. Lazy booking here. Same story from the last year. Had Hook team with Jungle Boy, Jack Perry then. And then Jungle Boy, Jack Perry turned on Hook last year. Had a team with Chris Jericho. And then, yes, Jericho then turned on Hook. That's very true. Not to mention as well, the Chris Jericho and Jungle Boy beat Hook for the FTW Championship. Does feel like then that we're going through Groundhog Day, doesn't it?
Everything in wrestling is stolen, Steve.
Even from the same company 12 months later. I love this as well. CD's just been brutal here. AEW will be lazy and have Hook win the championship again, and Hook will hopefully retire the championship after this. I don't know if I want him to retire the championship, but I see the points that are being made from it because, Do
you know what it is for me? It's never been taken seriously. It's like Taz showed up with it one week, gave it to like Brian Cage or whoever it was, and it's kind of like Tony Khan had no choice but to put this title on TV. And that's just how it's always felt. Like it's never been made to feel special, in my opinion. It just kind of like if I put it this way, if I was going to put it on the same platform as a title from WWE 24/7, that's what I get with this FTW title. It isn't treated with respect. It's just an accessory at this point that Tony Khan clearly doesn't want. Controversial.
It's hard to argue though. Chat, you know what to do. Yes or no? Do you agree with NXT? We'd love to know your thoughts if you agree or not. We'll come back to it in a little bit because we are going to go and talk about the next match in the meantime. You'll still see some of our faces. Here we go. I'll go over here for a minute. There you go. The AEW Trios Championship. We can just do another bit of Jericho for a minute. Hi, guys. We've got the AEW Trios Championships in a London ladder match. We've got Christian Cage and the Patriarchy going against the Bang Bang Gang, the House of Black, and, well, a mystery tag team, which wasn't announced on Dynamite, but thank you, Wikipedia. I don't know if this is legit or not, but I'm going to say it, and we're going to go through it anyway.
It's meant to be. Hang on. So it's meant to be Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah.
Pac, and I believe Claudio Castagnoli.
That's what it's meant to be. So when we got asked before about why John Moxley is not on this card, well, yeah, he's still having a break, and he's not even involved here on this one. But I mean, 4 teams here all put together. I mean, for me, this has kind of been based with I've read to put this on the bottom screen here instead of actually on the main. But anyway, Christian stopped the Bang Bang Gang and House of Black, determining a number 1 contender after they won the Trios Championships from the Bang Bang Gang. After the Bang Bang Gang were made to vacate the titles because they couldn't do the Freebird rule. Go figure. And now we're going to add another team in just because we can. Look, the thing is, it's great to have Pac on the card because he needs to be on there somewhere. If it wasn't here, it was the Gauntlet. But poor Pac, because he should have been going for the International Championship before it was rebranded, but instead he's here. But at least UK wrestler gets UK moment at Wembley Stadium.
Well, this is the thing as well. He claims that this year is going to be his moment as well because he never got his moment last year. So there is. Do you know what? There's an argument for at least 3 of these teams, and one of them is obviously, unfortunately, is actually Pac, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta, because obviously Pac has this is my UK moment. I'm going to win a title in the UK. All that old twaddle they like to do, and then you've got the Patriarchy and Christian Cage. They're the current champions, and Christian Cage is obviously doing some of the best character work he's ever done in his career. So I'd love to see them carry that title, those titles a bit more. But then you just said it there, the Bang Bang Gang, like wrongfully had the titles taken off of them because they couldn't freebird the rules. There's the possibility that a returning Jay White could help them win those titles. I mean, to me, the sole fun in this scenario is actually the House of Black. And your boy Disco Inferno has been winding them up something chronic today, apparently, coming out and saying that apparently they're trouble backstage or whatever. I was like, oh no, don't let Steve hear Disco Inferno as being a nuisance on Wrestling Society, on wrestling media.
It wouldn't be the first time, let's be fair. Yeah, I mean, all in all, looking at this one to go for a prediction then, because I mean, I've not really followed the Collision storyline. We're 45 minutes in. I'm not going to lie to you people. I don't watch Collision as often as I should. Patriarchy for me, Christian is doing some of his best work. I like the fact that Luchasaurus or Killswitch doesn't hold that Trios Championship. Actually, it's actually Nick Wayne's mum that holds the title, but she doesn't beat in the matches. It's just awesome. But look, Christian Cage is a general, and he knows how to book these other matches, which is a good thing because there's going to be 12 people in this match. It's a clusterfuck, politely. It's going to be too many people involved, really. But I'm going to go and say, yeah, you could write Pac could get his moment, but I don't think he will. I think he's have to wait for All Out to get that. I am going to say that the Patriarchy retain.
I am going to say the Bang Bang Gang win because those titles were wrongly taken away from them, and I think this is their moment to win them back. And with this way, the titles then go on to Juice and the Guns, and Jay White is then free to do single wrestling and go for singles titles like he should have been booked from the minute he came in.
It has too much logic for Jay White's running AEW for me. It won't happen. It's too logical. Jay White, it's a sad story, man. It's a really sad story how his time in AEW has been. He should have been doing much more better than he has been. But hey, that's probably a different
wrong
today.
The stuff he's still done is great. But honestly, Trios titles is honestly really below Jay White and his level when he came in.
Yeah, it is below his level indeed. Let's go into the comments then and see what everyone has to say. First off, with the FTW Championship, by the way, CD does say that it's not even a sanctioned title in storyline. That's true. The let's get as many people on the card match. That is pretty much what this ladder match is. So true indeed. Killswitch is a 3-time champion in AEW and only held a 1 physical championship. That's very true. The TNT Championship was also looked after by Christian Cage. Father of the
That's
year.
great.
Inspiration. Great. He's an inspiration to me. He's really not. Too Sweet Carl says Packers said he hasn't had his all-in moment. Wonder if that will be a hint of things to come. Interesting.
So I mean, House of Black have the sore thumbs here in this match.
There we go. It's confirmed they won a match on Collision to get this spot. There we go. That's how it is done. Right. Over at Wikipedia.
That's one of the spoilers I heard because Collision's pre-taped this Saturday.
Absolutely. Pac is number 1 contender CD for the International Championship. He hasn't got his shot yet. He's called it for All Out. So that's when he should be getting the shot. So if all goes to plan, Will Ospreay versus Pac.
But it's supposed to be his London moment, his UK moment. Well, it's no good doing it all out.
I don't know. It makes no sense. But look, MJF and Ospreay is the bigger match. Sorry, Pac.
Yeah.
Brutal facts. Why couldn't the Guns defend the Unified Trios titles with Juice Robinson when Adam Cole got to defend the RH Tag Team titles with Samoa Joe? I think MJF got to do the same as well. Logic, I don't know. Tony Khan is his favourite. There we go.
You know when you subscribe to YouTubers and they do those 10 things AEW wants you to forget? That's one of them. That happened with Samoa Joe and Adam Cole.
They're hoping marks like us don't turn up and actually comment that as well. We remember this.
They forget people at CD exist and they know their stuff.
He's always got the facts. We love he's got the facts when we come to these, because that means if we're ever not prepared, we've got backup. So that's what we like to see. So
never argue with CD.
Absolutely. No, because we're not going to win. We know that. We're just not going to win. Let's move on in the meantime. Let's talk about one of the big matches on the show. Timeless Toni Storm versus Mariah May for the AEW Women's World Championship. Of course, Mariah May winning, easy for me to say, the Owen Hart Classic tournament for the women. And of course, straight afterwards, after she was told to go into that match by Toni Storm, and Toni believed in her to do so as well, immediately going for the trophy, picked up the title as well, the Owen Hart title, and clobbered Toni Storm with it. Then picked up the shoe. Remember, that's always the catchphrase, watch out for the shoe. Toni Storm didn't watch out for the shoe, was left a bloody mess. And I tell you what, I've always been the biggest fan of the shoe part, but I tell you what, in storyline terms for this, was absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Mariah's just been kind of in a world of her own since then. I mean, she's gone back into a glamour gimmick. She's gone to explain why she's done what she's done to Toni Storm. To be fair, she said, look, didn't you all see it coming? It was going to happen eventually. And the fact is, she was just smart enough to use Toni Storm when she got through the door into AEW. And now she's going to get a moment in her home country at Wembley Stadium and winning the championship as well. And Toni will be back in the rearview mirror. And Mariah May will be the one that will be timeless and will live forever. I mean, I've enjoyed the storyline, not gonna lie. Toni Storm has gone a bit mental in the last couple of weeks, gone a bit crazy, gone doolally, but she did go back to form this week, beating Saraya, retaining her championship in Cardiff, but of course was laid out one more time by Mariah May after the match. Your thoughts on the build with this one?
See, now logically you should go with, well, if Mariah May stands tall, she's losing this match. Obviously that's the cliche of WWE booking, but I'm actually looking forward to what happens when Toni Storm loses. So, early prediction, Mariah May is going to win this title, because I'm hoping that we now get an iteration of Toni Storm that was kind of like, I forget Chelsea Green's TNA name.
Laura Van Ness.
Laura Van Ness. And we get a psychotic black and white Toni Storm, and she's just presenting the character in a new way. Like this whole Mariah May feud, I think has been great. It's been such a refreshing way to use Toni Storm, and she's obviously changed stuff. And the segment she did a couple of weeks ago, where she comes out and she's all decked in black, and I was like, she just it's just such a unique way. And I think that if you have Mariah May win this, and you have Toni Storm go on a Laura Van Ness kind of S-turn, where she's kind of like, I don't know, give her a split personality disorder or something, do you know what I mean? And kind of explains why she's gone back to this black and white era, do you know what I mean? I'm more, is it wrong to be more excited for what happens after the match? I don't know.
Not necessarily. It means that the story is playing out well, and if anything, it's not the end zone. You kind of feel like this is actually just a nice, unique marker in the story to carry on further to get to the next step. Certainly can be definitely excitement for that. I mean, the thing is, why I wouldn't mind seeing, I wonder what the chat feels with this as well, because it would be interesting to know, timeless Toni Storm, if she was to lose and stuff and she has to find herself, because like you say, she goes completely doolally. Could it be a transition where she goes back to then becoming Toni Storm that we knew before? That she has to find herself of what she was before to go back after Mariah May, who's been cosplaying that character for the best part of the last 6-7 months, then go and win the title back. That could be a fun storyline, could it not?
Dude, that's what I'm most excited to actually look forward to, is how Toni Storm is going to further evolve this character. And like you said, if she does go back to being the Toni Storm Vold, coming out with, the black spiky leather jacket on, do you know what I mean? It's going to be interesting. And don't get me wrong, the match I think is still going to be really good. But I think that there's not too many UK stars winning as well. And I think that's the other reason why I'm going with Mariah May, because obviously Pac's not going to win. I'm pretty sure I've already predicted someone else who's a UK star that's probably going to lose. I can't remember who the other matches are now because my brain's like a fart.
You've got
Ospreay, obviously. Ospreay. I think Ospreay and Mariah May are going to win their matches. They're going to be your only sort of two UK winners.
I'm going for Toni Storm to retain. As much as I just love everything you just said, I love everything you just said. We had someone from the UK win the title last year, and I think, what about the flip side? What if everything goes wrong with Mariah and she almost goes doolally on the other side of this as well? Almost can have two crazy chicks.
I see what you did there. You took what I said, flipped it, turned it, and used it against me. I like it.
Pretty much. I flipped the coin, but yeah. My other reasoning for it is I still believe, and I'm not going to change my beat of my drum, Toni Storm remains AEW Women's Champion until Jamie Hayter comes for that title. I'm a full belief that Jamie Hayter is the UK star that will take the title from Toni, but because Toni was the one that took her out back at Double or Nothing 18 months ago. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Your point is you could even have Jamie come out after this match instead of coming out to help Britt against Mercedes Moné and Camilla. Yeah,
could happen. We have to wait and see. I mean, it would. There's a couple of spots that would fit perfectly on this show. I think the only difference is, though, Toni Storm is loved so much now. You'd want to have that big pop for Jamie Hayter to begin with. I think Hayter would have to actually go heel in a rivalry with Toni Storm if they were to do it, because I think people now, as much as we do like Jamie Hayter, I think they like the timeless Toni Storm character even more. But yeah, I'm going to go for Toni Storm to retain here. And I don't think this feud's finished. I think it could continue, because Mariah May then obviously will have this thing of like, you've ruined my Wembley moments. So maybe they can redo this at All Out, and then it's like, when I take the title on your home turf instead. So yeah, maybe I think that's where it will go down. I don't think it's the end either way. Anything you'd like to say before we go to the comments?
No, go for it, mate.
Let's go into the comments. First, I want to say a big shout out to Temple in the house. Temple plays in the house. It says, evening, bruv.
Evening, bruv.
You feel the feeling? I am the feeling. It's as good as I can do for a Will Ospreay impression, and it probably was piss poor. Apologies, everyone. CD's got Toni Storm to retain the AEW Women's World Championship here. It says that Mariah May had the momentum on the Go Home show. Absolutely, indeed. Toni Storm could be the first ever four-time AEW Women's World Champion if she was to beat Mariah May again to retain the championship, absolutely, or regain the championship. Temple goes on to say, funny that Killswitch has never actually held a title officially in his hands. It reminds me how it was in Lucha Underground with the Reptile Tribe. Absolutely, indeed. Fun throwback indeed there.
Maybe he's allergic to him. And that's another moment for Steve to get some Lucha Underground on the show.
Any excuse. We will take any excuse to talk about Lucha Underground. It doesn't take a lot for me. CD says Mariah May is already crazy. Imagine if she gets more crazy.
Sure.
That's the dream. C Nation says Killswitch held the tag team championships, but that was the only time he was in AEW. Yeah, probably did at that point, but surely Marco, what was his name? Marco Stun? Maybe he had to go with the titles here and there. I don't know. What Marco's up to these days? Don't really see much about him on
GCW, I think.
Is it GCW? Yeah,
I think he's in GCW, yeah.
Okay. Would be a fun surprise for, I don't know, say like a Casino Gauntlet match. Let's talk about the Casino Gauntlet. We're going back here again. Hi, guys. Going back to the Jericho for you. But we know 5 people in this so far. According to Wikipedia, again, there could be up to another 16 people announced for this match that are to be determined. Now, I'll believe that when I see it, because it's not a Casino Battle Royal. It is a Casino Gauntlet match. And obviously, people come out at different intervals. Now, 21 people around the ring, I don't buy that. So I think Wikipedia's got that one wrong. But one thing we do know, Orange Cassidy's in this match because he won a freeway match to become the first entrant in this match. We then learned that Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly are going to be in this match as well. Kyle O'Reilly doing a much better impression than I am when it comes to some of these things today. And also then we learned that Hangman Adam Page is going to be involved in this. And of course he said he was going to take everybody out that got on his way. He even saw Evil Uno and said, have you heard about this Casino Gauntlet match? He went, yeah, I'm in this match. Got clobbered with a chair, didn't he? So those are the 5 people we know in this match. Now, before we go into it, because we can assume that probably people on the roster are going to be involved in this match. So I'm going to try and have a bit of fun with this instead. and I'm going to spitball a few names at NXT, and he's going to say yes or no, and then I'm going to say yes or no to that as well. So I'm going to take it off the screen so we can not have to hide our faces.
So how many we got to get? 16, yeah? Okay, I'm going to try and keep track.
I don't believe that's true. So we're not going to go with the 16. I've not even got 16 names to throw at you. But from the AEW roster, I think it's criminal Okada is not on this card anywhere. So I think Okada's going to turn up on this match, surely.
Wow. Yeah, sure, why not?
It's not really one of the surprises. Okay, but let's go into actual surprises then. Ricochet.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes as well. I think this is the place that he might come in. I just think it'd be a nice surprise for everybody. One of those big names that could appear. MVP?
Yeah, I mean, if you want
to say more, go on, finish on Ricochet.
I was going to say, if he doesn't come at the end of the come out at the end of the Will Ospreay match, then yeah, he'll be in this.
Fair play. MVP?
No. He might turn up, but he won't be in it.
Shelton Benjamin?
Yes.
I'm going to say no. I think he'd have issues with Max Caster. I think there's got to be the Acclaimed they go for if they ever do this hurt business thing to start in AEW. Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, why not, man? It's a world title shot.
I'd love to see it. For me, I hope it happens. I'm going to say yes. If I keep saying yes, if one of them happens, I go, got it right. Last one, Grado.
Ooh. I'm going to say yes, just because it'll get a massive pop from the crowd.
I think Grado's in it. I really do. I think of all of them, I'm most confident about Grado. One last one, because he appeared on Collision. Michael Oku from Rev Pro.
Yeah, I was about to say that's because apparently he's meant to be signing the contract with AEW. So I'm going to say, yeah, that's a good shout.
There's a good show indeed. So those are some surprises potentially that could be in that match there. I'm just going to be quick and say I think Hangman Adam Page is winning this because you get a title shot later down the line. It only makes logical sense for Hangman to win this.
If it isn't Hangman, I would have said Bobby Lashley, but yeah, Hangman Page is the obvious answer.
I'm just going to quickly see if the comments have beat me to this. I don't think anyone has at this moment. No, John. We know John Moxley's meant to be on a break. Could he surprise us and turn up in this match?
Dude, as much as I like John Moxley, man, give someone else an opportunity to be a world champion, please.
I'm going to say no. I don't think he's going to turn up on this one. I really don't. Into the predictions then. Jason McCall says cowboy shit. Perfect the way it's done. Oh, I love this. Like best in the world, Shane McMahon.
Oh, yes, please. 100%. I hope so. I really hope he does. And he absolutely destroys his quads in the first 2 minutes as well. just for a laugh like his old man did.
Here comes the money. No, don't do that to us. It would be great. Go coast to coast as well.
He'll have some new gangster rap version. He'll come out with a sideways hat on and think he's all bad now because he's in AEW.
He likes to jump off big things. I mean, I hope he don't go to the top tier of the stadium. Do you know what I mean? He's too much of a daredevil for me. I don't know. Casino Gauntlet match is similar to what Aztec. This is why I like get Temple in here. Lucha Underground references are going to come in. Is similar to what Aztec Warfare was for Lucha Underground for the Raws. Similar indeed, very similar. One of my favorite match types in Lucha Underground.
I reckon. Do you know what it'd be? I reckon it'd be a case of like, say for instance, there's 20 people in it. I reckon like the first 15 are going to be outside the ring, and then like the last 3 or 4 or 5 or how many, they're going to get entrances.
I like this shout, by the way. I don't think it's an elimination match. So technically, when I think final 2, I look at this as like perhaps maybe Hangman pins Jeff Jarrett, and like that's how he gets through. Because Jeff Jarrett being in this match makes a lot of sense as well with the build here, because those two have had quite a lot of a heated rivalry on AEW over recent times. So I think that's a really good shout. Probably means as well you might see the likes of maybe a Jay Lethal could be about on this one as well. So yeah, I think this is a really sensible suggestion here.
It is, but it's Jeff Jarrett, man. Come on, really? The guy's like 60 years old. Use some younger talent, AEW.
It's a variety show. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Grado was at last year's All In 0 Hours. It's possible that he could be here this year too. Certainly did. There's a lot of the UK sort of YouTube scene trying to push for Grado to be a part of this. So yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
He didn't wrestle last year, did he? He made just a surprise appearance, didn't he? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, he might have helped someone, if I remember correctly.
It was Jeff Jarrett as well that he got in the face of, so it could be kind of fun for that reason as well. So it actually makes a lot of sense to put them all in the ring at the same time. So yeah, kind of makes sense. It's a Wembley storyline, long-term storytelling, as Temple would like to say. Shane McMahon could be on screen as an authority figure. Wouldn't mind that. Yeah. But poor Christopher Daniels being shoved to the side.
I would rather not, if I'm honest.
Fair play to that. You won a pole match. You sound like you've gone to Vince Russo there for a second there, Temple. Not gonna lie. Kyle says the last time I saw Shane live was at Mania 39, and we all know how that went.
Yeah, we saw a really bad Snoop Dogg elbow drop.
So final then. Hangman Page is winning this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Hangman.
Hangman Adam Page. There we go. So here we're going for the world title. Potentially All Out could be the case. I wonder how that's going to affect our main event. It is the final countdown. We're definitely getting that song. That song is definitely coming out for Bryan Danielson's entrance theme, by the way. Swerve Strickland, Bryan Danielson, title versus career. The AEW World title is on the line. Bryan Danielson, of course, getting this opportunity, winning the Owen Hart Classic. Of course, he's put his career on the line, hasn't he? I mean, it's all it says. What it is on the tin here, really. Bryan Danielson, though, has been quite vocal in a lot of his interviews that he's been doing. Particularly, I've watched one of the gorilla positions saying that he's kind of ready for retirement. He wants to sort of do wrestling in the same capacity, but he wants to have the ability to also walk away, I guess, on his own terms. And he's been quite injury prone in the last sort of year. It's not quite gone to plan with this year that he's promised, that he would then hang it up, which he promised his daughter. His daughter will be in attendance for this show, by the way, which is interesting as well. Swerve, on the other hand, though, has pretty much said that he's willing to put in the killer blow. He's willing to take Bryan Danielson out. And, well, he has actually been quite menacing, to be honest, on this past week's Dynamite. I really enjoyed this segment where he pretty much said, Danielson, if you get the itch to come back in, I'm not just going to you're not going to sort of take this away yourself. I'm going to be the one to take it away from you. I'm the one that's going to, cripple you in such. I'm going to make it it's impossible for you to come back. But if you get that itch and you want to sort of, I don't know, go to Mexico, I'm going to be there and I'm going to beat you down. If you're going to try and go to one of these local indie promotions in Washington, where I'm from, I'm going to be there. I'm going to beat you down. If you can have a conversation with Brie at home around your children saying, I think I'll do this one more time, guess who's going to be there to beat you down? It's just, and we know with Swerve, with Hangman, he's done it before. So it's kind of like, you feel the legit, but that brought down Bryan Danielson out. Of course, he managed to get his running knee strike in, which I forget the name of the top mate at the moment. And of course, then he went on to say, look, he may have said all this stuff, but don't get it mistaken. I am the best effing pro wrestler in the world. And just pretty much based off of that, he said, I'm going to leave my soul on the ring. You've got to pretty much kill me if you're going to win this match. And as well as that, he asked the crowd, can I win this match? Can I win the title? And a resounding yes chant going all around. Not going to lie, got a bit of goosebumps at the end of Dynamite this past week. I thought it was an excellent go-home angle. The story here, though, quite literally is Bryan Danielson, if he does lose, he's done. The career stipulations there. He will not wrestle anymore. If he wins here, he's not under contract with AEW. Likelihood is he'll probably go and continue to Wrestle Dream, which is also going to be in Washington, by the way. Then he'll probably retire as a full-time wrestler, but probably will do part-time appearances where he can probably able to come back, maybe say for a future Wembley show, he might come back again. Where do you stand on this? This is going to be very interesting because obviously the story is and the emotion is going to be high for this one.
You literally just said it. You said at the end of Dynamite, you could feel the excitement, the anticipation, the levels that they've done to build this, to do this career versus title match. We always do love a career versus titles match. What a way to close the show out than 50,000 people bawling their eyes out that Bryan Danielson, has had to retire. I think ultimately this is the send-off show for him. Like, he goes out on the biggest stage. Spoiler with the prediction, I'm going to go with Swerve. He's going to go out on the biggest stage. It's going to be his final match. We've known for years that he wants to go out in his own term. Do you know what I mean? And he's, do you know what I mean? He obviously loves wrestling and he loves the AEW styles, which is why he went there. But doing it this way, it's his chance to, like you said, go out on his terms. Biggest stage, biggest show of the year. It's essentially going out main event of WrestleMania. It's kind of like when we did Flair versus Michaels, when we did. I'm trying to think of like that's literally the first one that comes to my mind. Imagine if you'd have done Flair versus Michaels as the main event of WrestleMania. This is essentially what they're trying to build it like, and I honestly think that it will be. I reckon this will be the last time we see Bryan Danielson in a competitive in-ring. Like you've obviously got All Out, and you've got the Washington show coming up, but he doesn't ultimately have to wrestle. And as much as it probably would be nice for him to go out in a show in his home state, you have to sign off at the biggest show of the year, really, didn't you?
Potentially, yeah. Potentially. The thing is when he's talking and he was talking to that crowd and you felt everything in that moment, it is almost like that perfect thing of like, I feel like I've seen the final hurrah chant from Bryan. It's perfectly done if he then goes into the show and then loses and goes away, because that last feeling before he went into a show, it's like, damn, like, he's the best wrestler in the world. He has been for the last 20 years. You believed it. You felt it. You know what I mean? It was I don't know if you top that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you top that. So in a way, I feel like
you've got to try and top the Miracle on Bourbon Street. Essentially, is what they have to try and do. Now, him winning, I don't think is a bigger moment than him losing.
I like that. It's a really good point. That's a strong argument. That's hard to back against. It probably is more impactful if he loses here than if he wins. However, the thing that also strengthens your argument, just quickly before it strengthens your argument.
Go for it.
He has also said that when he retires, he wants to put over another Washington-based wrestler. He wants to pass the baton of like, I am a Washington-based wrestler. I'm passing over to the next one. He sees that in Swerve Strickland. So he probably will pass the baton to Swerve Strickland when he goes. The question is if it's going to be this Sunday. But before I give my spin and my prediction, NXT, if I can see you were very excited there, share with me what you got.
I was just going to make another reference as well. I mean, I presume you've seen the Rocky films, yes? And you've seen Rocky Balboa. No. Have you seen Balboa, the last one, right? Number 5, essentially.
No.
The one where so essentially it's the same kind of story we've got here. You've got an old boxer in Rocky Balboa who is in his 50, 60 years old, who's then brought back out to do essentially a charity match against the young guy who's the current world champion. This essentially is Rocky Balboa. Now, the guys that made the film did the right thing. They filmed 2 endings, one where Rocky wins and one where Rocky loses. And what do you think they did? They did the right decision and had Rocky lose because it was the right decision for the film. So having Bryan Danielson, I keep calling Bryan Danielson lose is the right decision for the story, for the show, for the moment, for everything.
Fair play. Your arguments are strong and they are very good. And they have got persuasive ability. However, I'm going for Bryan Danielson to win. I think it's going to happen because I do think it's AEW's version of the Miracle on Bourbon Street. And I do think we're going to have some real close near falls in this match. There's going to be moments you're going to believe that Danielson's done. I actually am going to call this, outside of Cody and Roman, like that's your sports entertainment match of the year. This year is going to be match of the year. I think it's going to be hard to top this because Swerve's been an unbelievable tear. Lights against Ospreay and stuff he's done this year. Danielson, we know if he's going to go out as well, he'll make sure it's going to be one of the best matches he's ever done. I personally feel that there is also what would back your argument. If Hangman wins, then obviously, surely it would be Swerve Hangman again all out for the championship. However, I think it could be a case of Hangman wanting to beat Danielson because Danielson did what he couldn't Therefore, Hangman will want to take the title from Danielson because he's beaten Danielson before to try and stop Swerve ever getting the title again. I think that's what's going to be Hangman's little kicker for the next couple of weeks. I think then Danielson will overcome Hangman Adam Page. And as we mentioned, that show that will be in Washington, that'll be the full calendar year of when Danielson says that he's going to stop as a full-time wrestler. He may do the full-time retirement, but I think it'll be as a full-time wrestler, so he can make sporadic appearances when he wants. I think he will then drop the championship back to Swerve at Wrestle Dream. I think that's where this story and chapter will end.
Don't get me wrong, it's all logical, it's all plausible, it all makes a hell of a sense. But for me, that show is going to be in an arena in Washington in front of 10,000 people, 15, 20,000, whatever it is. I don't know because I don't know the capacity. Having Bryan Danielson go out in his hometown, sure, it'll be nice. But I don't unless you, because what is it? Is it going to be? Is it a Dynamite or is it is it a pay? It's not a pay-per-view, is it? Is it just a normal Dynamite? Oh, is it a pay-per-view? Okay, then fair enough. I might be wrong then. I was going to say, if it was just a normal Dynamite, then definitely no way. You've swayed me slightly, but I'm still going for the moment of Daniel Bryan losing. Bryan Danielson, God damn it.
It's so easy just to swap them round. That's the problem. Yeah. The thing is,
Daniel Bryan. I got it wrong way around, and I'm still trying to get it wrong.
All I'm going to say is in reply to what you said there. Yes, so All In may be the biggest show of the year, technically of their biggest gate of the year as well, because that's technically what it'll be. I don't think they'll top 50,000 this year on an American stage. They will probably do next year with Dallas, but there's no place like home. And Washington's his place. If he wants to put over a Washington-based wrestler on the way out, to do it in Washington will feel like a bigger deal to him. So I think that Danielson's always been happy to wrestle in front of 50 people, 4 people, 40,000 people. He loves to wrestle. So that's going to be my final argument on it. But now, it's up to you. We've had our say. In fact, we've almost debated on this last one, which has been really fun because the fact is usually we share a lot of predictions a lot of the time. We're passionate on the opposite end of the spectrum for this one. So that's pretty fun to see. So let's see what you've all got to see, what you've all got to say, and what you've all predicted. Apparently, Darby Allin is challenging for the AEW World Championship at Grand Slam later this year. I mean, to be fair, obviously it makes sense then to do Swerve again, but they have done the match multiple times before. Danielson versus Darby All In, or Darby Allin, would actually would be fresh and new.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but you're not going to sway me. Swerve's still winning.
They're not going to sway. But Swerve and Darby do have history, so that's why he thinks that Swerve retains the championship here. Doesn't matter about Wrestle Dream. He's thinking about the next stop, which, to be fair, does make a lot of sense. Tepper says, we need Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness at Wrestle Dream. We certainly do. Nigel McGuinness will not drop the insults to Bryan Danielson at any opportunity, even on an interview with Chris Van Vliet, which was just hilarious to listen to. Highly recommend that if people haven't listened to it yet. Bryan Danielson must come out to the final countdown for his final match. He certainly must come out to the final countdown. It's in the tagline. Tony Khan likes to get the big ones for this show as well. So, yeah, I think he will come out to that song here. Jason McCall says, I'm falling for it. It's a toss-up, but give me Danielson. I think it'd be fun for him to have a main event of Wrestle Dream and lose. Plus, he's never won a title in AEW. Whole run there, 3 years. He's not won the title at all. It just feels like, that last chance to learn, that last match to do it, and then he does it, for me, would be awesome. But again, for NXT, I'm sure it'll be that last match, that last chance to do it, and he fails, and it just hurts that little bit more. It feels very Tommy Dreamer, ECW-esque.
My argument is he's never needed the title. He's always been a top tier, top of the card, main event guy, and he's been like that consistently since Miracle on Bourbon Street. He's just do you know what I mean? That was his cementing his place at the top of the card, and he's been there ever since. And he's never needed titles. Never. Do you know what I mean? He's a guy that could just go on and have great wrestling matches. Don't get me wrong. There's like a 3% chance in the back of my brain now that he is winning, but I'm still.
For me, it's about 55-45. Like I feel like it's a close one. I can see both scenarios playing out, but I'm going with heart over head on this one, and I'm going with the Washington theme. I would like to see Danielson versus Moxley before it's all said and done as well, but that's just a personal preference because we never got an actual winner when they had their feud at Revolution a few years ago that led to the Blackpool Combat Club and William Regal debut as well. Temple says kill shot for the win. Nigel DeCoste Danielson. No, imagine if it was Nigel McGuinness. Do you know what? I think it's an awesome shout because even though the fact is, like I was saying about the emotion stuff in this match, if Nigel McGuinness is on commentary and he's like seeing the idea that Danielson could win and he can't stand it, he needs to see Danielson like not be around anymore. Could Nigel actually get involved in this match because he wasn't part of Dynamite this past week?
It is very possible, but sorry, my brain is still going back to this. Right? What if Swerve beating Bryan Danielson? Got it right that time. Is Swerve's face turn? If you imagine they come out on Dynamite next week and like there's a whole thing between the two of them in the ring, this could be Swerve's face turn. The 3% is getting smaller now.
All I'm going to say is that he's gone face and heel more times than the Big Show this year. I don't know if I need another turn at this moment. I'm pleased he's gone back heel for the minute, but it does make things interesting for Hangman Adam Page in the meantime, what they'll do with that. See, this is John Cena isn't having his last match of WrestleMania 41, so it's possible Bryan Danielson could go a bit longer. That's a good point as well, then. Interesting argument. Jason McCall says, yes. I'm with you, Steve. He's not clarified which Steve, but he has to Danielson win above. So I think he's going over here, to be fair. I think he's all in on my prediction there for you. But hey, Daniel Bryanson?
No, Bryan Daniel.
We've got Derek Ip. It's been a while since I've seen you on these streams. Hope you're doing well. It says hope Bryan Danielson wins the whole locker room and the BCC comes out to celebrate with Brody and Britt. That would be a very emotional moment to end the show. So I'm with you. I hope it happens as well.
It'll be more emotional if he's retiring and Brie and Brody come out. It'll be more.
Last comment, and we'll wrap it up. We're not meeting on the middle on this one. Nigel McGuinness was on Dynamite. He hosted the stare down between Danielson and Strickland. Absolutely true, indeed. And we've been hosting your All In predictions live stream as well. Hope you've all enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit the like button, share with a friend, and subscribe as well. Thank you to everyone for the live comments as well. And Steve, thank you for joining.
Dude, always a pleasure. Do you know what? This is really fun tonight. Like, I didn't think I'd be so passionate about it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, always fun. Dude, check out the one that's going up tomorrow where we debate if every WWE superstar going to AEW has had a decent run since leaving the company.
Very true. Very true. That's the thumbnail for you there. The video is already up and loaded. So all you got to do is hit the notifications bell, set your reminders, and you can watch that podcast tomorrow. That will be available for you on this channel tomorrow. But massive thank you to everyone that's been involved on this video. As I say, like always great takes and great comments and stuff like that. We really do appreciate it. For those watching on delay, thank you for watching this whole podcast. We really do appreciate it. Drop your predictions now in the comments below. I'd love to hear who you think is winning at All In, and I will reply to every comment. Thanks for watching, everybody. Look after yourselves and each other. And unfortunately, we're not on the way to Wembley, but we will be back here on YouTube tomorrow. So we'll see you then. All the best. Thanks for watching. Take care.